was looking through, I downloaded the 14th Amendment. There's been a lot of Supreme Court cases. Civil Rights Act of 1964 was upheld. This approach in the heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States. Justice Joseph Bradley made a really interesting comment about it. He said, quote, individual invasion of individual rights is not the subject matter of the 14th Amendment. It has a deeper and broader scope. It nullifies and makes void all state legislation and state action of every kind which impairs the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States or which injures them in life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or which denies them equal protection of the laws. He goes on. The radical Republicans who advanced the 13th Amendment, which was free slavery, abolishing slavery, hoped to ensure broad civil and human rights for the newly freed people. But its scope was disputed before it even went into effect. The framers of the 14th Amendment wanted these principles enshrined in the Constitution to protect the new Civil Rights Act from being declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court and also to prevent a future Congress from altering it by a mere majority vote. Who was the focus? The newly freed people. Not everybody trying to get here by hook, crook, or cranny.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
Welcome once again to the Beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, Beatzillapdx officially, and this is the midweek report news break edition, a day late. We had some technical difficulties yesterday, family. Had an entire broadcast recorded. Hopefully this comes out cool as I expect. We just ran a test to make sure the sound was cool. So hopefully everything is still working how it should be. But the sound on that video was extremely choppy, even worse than the last video. So I absolutely just could not put that out. So we are here on the Thursday trying to knock this out. And, some more information actually ends up popping up today. So, I guess it works out. So hopefully everybody is doing well. As you are coming into this broadcast, please like and share this broadcast out on your social media if you would. If you are watching this on X, come on over here to the YouTube channel. And if you're new over here on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the Beatzillapdx official YouTube channel. and hit that notification bell. Hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded or premieres. And then if you would like to support this channel even further, you can do so by way of joining the channel and becoming a member. And that will be done by simply hitting the join button and following those instructions after. So with that being said, thank you to all of my members for tuning in. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon you and yours. And thank everyone for tuning in as well. Now, did Trump and his administration tell the illegals that they ain't black? Just like Joe Biden said, if we didn't know if we didn't want to vote for him or for Trump, that we ain't black. Might have the tables have turned, right? See, we're talking about the 14th Amendment and its original intent. And you're not hearing a lot of the shills trying to even address this. Why? Because realistically, the Congressional Black Caucus and the Al Sharptons would have to engage in a conversation that deals with slavery. And this 14th Amendment, while the reparations conversation is going on, this further strengthens the argument for reparations only being for one specific group. So notice how the CBC and the shills are staying away from that conversation as much as they can. And I believe it's because then you start getting into who is solely due reparations. Because when you're talking about the 14th Amendment, it's very clear then who gets that benefit. So all of a sudden now it's not clear on who gets that benefit. Well, yeah, we beg to differ here. Definitely beg to differ. So with that being said, we're going to look at some things today. First off, let's hear from Camila Cabello.
Tonight, in this room full of music's dreamers, we remember that this country was built by dreamers, for dreamers, chasing the American dream.
Okay. Well, let's hear what Donald Trump has to say about those dreamers.
And as we are fighting hard to get birthright citizenship or automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens, that's another way. It's automatic citizenship for children of illegal aliens. That's the other term that they use, which is actually more accurate, more understandable. And it's ridiculous. We're the only country that has it, and certainly the only country that has it to that extent. And it wasn't meant, if you look, it was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves, it was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders from all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that. And hopefully at some point the courts will understand that without having to go through a whole big deal. This was meant for the children of slaves. And look at the timing of it and you'll see. And I hope judges will understand that. And it has to stop because it's really hurting our country very badly.
And there it is, folks. And so with that being said, there's some more to play of his press conference, or of his speech, rather. And this part here is going to be interesting because he is going to say the truth. And that's why they're trying to separate additional criminal charges for these illegals versus, of course, being illegal in the first place. But they're trying to frame it as, well, what about, how many criminals, what percentage of it's all of them? Now, at the end of the day, listen to this.
They're very dangerous people. They're violent people. I used to say these are more violent than our criminals. In fact, the best part about them is they make our criminals look quite nice, actually, by comparison. They are very violent people. We also have many violent criminals in our country, however, that did not necessarily come here illegally, but have been arrested 30 times, 35 times, 41, 42 times in a couple of cases, 20.
Now, and what he's saying with these criminals, remember when they were trying to tell us and tell black folks and say that us people on the internet or on social media was spreading disinformation and misinformation about these illegal immigrants. And then they told us that there weren't any people out there in Aurora, Colorado, taking over. There was no Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. And then the leader of said gang ends up getting arrested in Aurora, Colorado. No, not at all. No, he gets arrested in New York, still as being tied to criminal activity and an organized criminal gang. And this is who we're letting in here. And this is what you almost voted in, folks. So you know. This is the Biden-Harris, Kamala-Harris policy right here. Free reign of this. And just get to go. Yeah, come over here and terrorize American citizens. That's right. Red Dot. Yeah, so when people say, his exaggeration, he lies. He says that there's a bunch of criminals over there. He lies. Those are not exaggerations. And you tried to lie on Black America when we told you this was going on. And y'all said it wasn't. And it was fake news. And it was misinformation. But you can't arrest a person for being tied to exactly what we said he was tied to based off of misinformation. No, that means that he's legitimately the criminal we always told he was, and all of these people. And this is what has been happening and happened in Aurora, Colorado. So there you have it, folks. These Democrats have been willfully lying to the public, especially lying to their base, which is Black America, about what was going on. And they're sticking these people in Black neighborhoods. That's not a benefit to y'all, Black folks. Just want get that, make that clear.
5 times, 18 times, many for murder and other heinous charges such as pushing people into subways.
That's crazy.
As the train's coming along at 45 miles an hour, boom, you get pushed into the subway. They had it last week. Getting them in the head with baseball bats while they're not looking, punching old ladies in the face, knocking them unconscious and stealing their purse. They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave.
Real talk. I mean, now, again, understand that you have people who have been here. And it's coming out now. You got people that have been hiding under the radar for decades, illegally. And ICE is coming to get them up out of here. So, there's a lot of people who got a lot of smart, slick stuff to say to foundational Black Americans. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. I don't know why y'all are talking to us. If you really, really think that foundational Black Americans are so divisive, well, then you guys should get out there and march. Get out there and protest. Why don't I see all of you illegal aliens out there at the out there in front of City Hall protesting? See, when people say that we can align and we can have a coalition, if you cannot stand with us in front of City Hall, then we cannot have a coalition because you clearly cannot fight with us. See, these people be like, oh, no, see, no, they ain't going to let them divide us. Divide you because we've been your protection. That's the division that you're afraid of losing or afraid of incurring. And that's what these people have been doing. But, man, we're going to get to that in a little bit. But let's hear some more because there's been a lot of people snuck into this country under the radar and here to purposely undermine foundational Black Americans, but we'll get there.
And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers, I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. Now let them be brought out of our country.
Now, I seem to remember somebody bringing up the point of prison and private prisons going to be balling out because of illegals. Did you hear what he just said? He doesn't plan to fill up private prisons in America with illegals. They're going to be going to Guantanamo Bay. Big difference.
And let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it. You'll see crime all over the country dry up. Essentially, that's what Venezuela and other countries are doing. They're getting rid of their criminals and putting them into the United States of America.
Clearly.
And their crime is down by almost 80%.
Wow.
We're going to restore law and order in America, and we want to bring back the death penalty for these horrible people that kill people. They kill people. It's always a tough thing to say because I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But if you don't do it, we're just looking for trouble.
Man, now you don't have to agree with everything he's saying. You know, you don't have to agree with all. I don't think anybody at all times is going to agree. However, I do agree with quite a bit what he said. And again, it just is what it is. It's not an endorsement of him. However, it is clearly an indictment against the outgoing administration because they put us in such a rut. And now you're seeing the truth. You can't lie about what you see. You could diminish it, which I do see people trying to do for whatever that's worth. But I don't see that really having a major effect. Not like, you know, not like some of this, not like seeing raids in 8 days. This is really getting people's attention. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's really happening. Hey, good. Because at the end of the day, all of that repetitive talk about how Donald Trump had his friends in Senate Congress block and veto the bill which would have been the toughest border bill ever. And that border bill, the border bill. There's no border bill right now when you are watching mass deportations. That has always been the point. And you could never dupe the American public into knowing or believing any different. If you're going to do it, pull the doggone trigger and get it done. But this was the agenda of the Democrats. Flood the zone. And now you're seeing why it was done. But we're going to get to another little clip that actually aired today that you'll be seeing. But at the same time, I want to just show you all of the sides and aspects of the tethers that are upset because at the end of the day, they ain't foundational Black Americans. And what Trump is telling you is, hey, didn't he tell you he was listening? Didn't he tell you he was listening? And at the end of the day, it's really becoming a for real reality on how many of these tethers we have had in our midst, and we can see why they've been so comfortable undermining us because they've had assistance and assurance. See, when you have assurances, people get real bold. Like, yeah, I'm gonna tell these what I want. You know, I'm gonna talk to them how I want. They're beneath me. And now all of a sudden, with Donald Trump in office, that whole high and mighty attitude that went right out the window. But see, here's one thing that stayed: them looking down on us. So even though they need to be looking to us for help, and this is some weak, weird attempt for a cry of help. Number one, they keep trying to boil down our lineage to Tariq Nasheed because, well, that's FBA. That does not change the lineage. If we are the descendants of the slaves that built this country, we're different than everyone else. We come from the freedmen. We're not just the birthright citizenship that actually was meant for us that should not apply to some of these other sassy mouth individual tethers. This is all about us. So all that Trump is doing is saying, hey, foundational Black America, you freedmen, we've heard you. And we're going to help you delineate legally. All you are watching is legal delineation. And they don't like it. But what's the problem? Oh, because he's also aiding in sethering the tethering. So if tether is a bad word, it's only because of your actions behind it. And it's a bad action, then you could call it a bad word because you are a bad person if you are tethering. Save your excuses for the flight home with your comrades. We don't want to hear why it was okay to exploit the hardships and the killing fields of America that foundational Black Americans have lived through. You thought that you would just come over here and partake in all the ill-gotten gain. Talk to us as if we're nothing. Because these folks have gave you a visa. These folks have given you an extended stay. So you're better than us. And in one election, within a week of a regime change, there's a lot of you with nowhere to run but looking at us. And the only thing you can still do is hold on to your contempt because you were already jealous of our status. And now this further puts it in your face that you have to rely on us to fight for you. And right now, we don't have any incentive to do so because you never fought with us. And right now, if they're booting you out, you can't be the one out there protesting. See how this works? If you had foundational Black Americans coming out there, if this had been the early 90s, you would have got a lot of dumb college-educated Negroes getting right out here marching in the streets with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson screaming on the president to save these illegals. But unfortunately for all of you of the last course of these last couple decades, the overwhelming clear signs of disrespect and tethering has made it so where delineation was needed, especially when we talk about our reparations, then we are seeing the evidence of jealous, hating tethers, pocket watching tethers. But at the end of the day, still tethers while we're citizens. So looking at another failure, the Kamala Harris campaign, or Kamala, whatever you want to call her, again, because you guys did that. When people try to get into that whole name thing with her, you guys are just freaking hilariously hypocritical. Because all of you have called her multiple names throughout the years and no one gave a damn. But get it right. It's racism if you don't pronounce her name right. Please, you guys never even came and stepped in for Barack Obama. When these people will be out there, I've never heard nobody correct. It's Obama, not Obama. It's Obama, not Obama. Obama, Farrakhan, they always do that madness. So why are all of a sudden you trying to police folks' speech on Kamala? Especially when you got all these folks that got these heavy country Southern accents and whatnot. You want all of these people just to worry about how to pronounce her name. Who the hell do y'all think y'all are? Anyway, this is why y'all lost. And all of that fake bullying tactic, that's why all of them Democratic shields is crying in the wind. And they're about to try to come armchair reparationists all of a sudden. At the end of the day, though, if you can't really speak, and this is where we should go. If you cannot get our reparations, if you're not entitled to our reparations, you should not be at the forefront of any legislation or movement about our reparations. See, the whole HR 40 thing with Sheila Jackson Lee, who is a damn immigrant herself, it makes no sense. We need people tied to this soil whose passion is tied to the meaning and the reasoning for reparations. This is the type of leadership we need in that space. But nonetheless, like I said, about this failed campaign, this is the Lily woman who used to work for Kamala, getting all that money that they wasted. And she talks about her immigrant status. But, you know, she also has moved over to the conservative side of the game. And now she's also low-key trying to sound, or no, I can't say she's trying to sound. She's low-key starting to sound like Diane Yap.
My break with the Democratic Party on finances led me to rethink a number of things. I grew up in the age of Obama. I was kind of just like plunged into that liberal mentality, and I've had a lot of time over the past year. This was not just a few months thing for me. This has been a long time coming, and a number of events in my personal life that catalyzed my rightward shift. As I mentioned at the top, I've always been a conservative. This whole porous borders thing is a serious concern for me. Mark, I'm a naturalized immigrant myself. I came to this amazing career. Actually, I came from Sheffield, England. I came to America with just $200 with my parents. I was 4 years old. We didn't take any handouts. We came here the right way.
Yeah, that part about, you know, we didn't take any handouts. We came here with $200. That's impossible. So you had help from somewhere. See, they like to leave that part out. So, you know, you got to put on your little cap there, lady. But I understand what you're saying. You know, I get it. But it's just, we did it the right way.
My parents and I waited years to come to the United States. And then to see millions of people pour across the border is just it seems very unfair.
Now, let me just, this is a lightweight.
We didn't take any handouts. We came here the right way.
That's
I
a little
came from Sheffield, England. I came to America with just $200 with my parents. I was 4 years old. We didn't take any handouts.
Man, that one right there, just what does that make y'all feel like when you hear that one? You understand what I'm saying? What y'all feel like when you hear that? We didn't take any handouts. We just came here with $200.
Came here the right way. My parents and I waited years to come to the United States. And then to see millions of people pour across the border is just it seems very unfair.
She's not wrong. She's definitely not wrong. But let's hear some more, because then she says something a little more interesting in this other interview, which is a different interview, but she's pretty much saying the exact same thing.
For me is a very, very big issue. I'm a legal immigrant. I'm a naturalized American. My family and I waited years to come to this country. This is not opportunism. This is just the way that I am.
Yeah.
And as you know, they say that a Republican is just a Democrat mugged by reality. I've been assaulted multiple times on the streets of Philadelphia simply for getting my dinner. Like, I was just standing there, and I mean, I have a paper trail. I filed a police report. Like, this happened to me.
How did you go from making a Democrat reference? So they say that a Democrat is just being mugged by a Republican or something like that, whatever the hell she is. But then she says she knows something about being mugged, because while being on the streets of Philadelphia, I was attacked. And I have a paper trail report, and I filed a police report. It actually happened to me. How did we go from politics to immediately shifting? That's what I said. You know, she's starting to sound a little on the Diane Yappish side, because all of a sudden you go put this assault in the midst of a conversation and then turn around and try to justify it or quantify it by saying, yes, and I have a paper trail. And I filed a police report. Well, at the end of the day, you're not presenting either the evidence of what you just said or the police report to which you said you have, but yet you're making this claim right here, which you've been assaulted. That's pretty egregious. on the streets of Philadelphia. Yeah, and she doesn't put any kind of race connotation to it, other than she's talking about being on the streets of Philly. That's a place where got a lot of black folks. So, you know, Rocky didn't beat her up. So let's just hold on to that one, family, about this one.
And, you know, as I've gotten older, I've become more conservative. I grew up in the era of Barack Obama, and it wasn't acceptable to be a Republican. I think there were like 2 Republicans on my college campus.
Right.
It was just conservatives were just ostracized. I didn't realize until recently that not being a member of the Democratic Party was an option.
She didn't think not being being part of the Democratic Party was an option. I wish so many black folks would think like that. I mean, do you know how far we could get if black folks was not thinking like that? Or would be thinking like that, rather, I'm sorry. That, I mean, because that's you don't have to be married to the doggone Democrats. You could be married to your communal issues, which we really try to stress, but everybody wants to say, no, I don't want to do that. That's divisive. No, worrying about your people's issues is actually kind of a little important thing, but what do I know? What do I know? So let's see. Let's take a little quick stop to Chi-Town, shall we? And let's check in with old Mayor Brandon Johnson. It looks like he's had some investigations on him, and he's got a message for President Trump.
But here's what I'm getting at. This oversight committee, of all the things that they want to have sight over, they should look at the White House right now. That White House is being ran in one of the most raggedy forms of government that I've ever seen. If anybody is questioning whether or not what our country would look like had the Confederacy won, there should be no question now. They want us to be afraid. Do not be afraid, Chicago. Whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, I'm always going to stand up for the interests of working people. And I will not be intimidated by some weak individual who won't stand up to an individual who believes he's a supreme being right now. You're worried about Chicago? Look in your front yard. We have a president right now who is obfuscating his responsibilities that should be very clear based upon the Constitution. He is rejecting the Constitution of the United States of America. And if they want to have a real discussion about undocumented individuals who are criminals, they should look at the very individuals who enslaved my people and colonized this land. So whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, the people of Chicago would not be intimidated or threatened by any individual who is unwilling to look in their own front yard of where the real threat to our democracy lies. Thank you all very much.
I can't stand douchebags like this. They don't ever speak for black folks ever, and then all of a sudden want to invoke slavery. That's so Bush League sucker to me, because when do you hear Brandon Johnson talking about what they did to my ancestors and put my ancestors on plantations? What? Well, you don't give a crap about your ancestors, Brandon Johnson, because you don't give a crap about their descendants. And that's already abundantly clear, dude. So to sit up there and do that, that's just for show. I will not be bullied. I will not be intimidated. Come on, Chicago, and stand behind me. Man. Come on, stand with me. Stand with it, brother. Now. Yeah, I think this might be one and done for you, buddy. I'd be very surprised if Brandon Johnson got another go. And, you know, again, if he wants to be defiant, I'm all for seeing the defiant mayors and governors getting locked up. Like that's a good thing to see. Because man, I live in Oregon, man. Portland, Oregon. The moniker here is Keep It Weird. They was trying to take this weird mess and shove this down all of y'all throats. And so like that cat, Anton Daniels, came out here. And he saw for what was going on out here. Because I saw a video, I guess he was on the street. And he was looking downtown. He's like, man. So I go into this place, like one thing about Portland that's different than anywhere else is their open Satan worship. It's like, well, this is one thing I tell y'all about this trans community. That's their God. The religion of that is Satan. So you come out here, you see it for what it really is. It's no fluff. They don't show you Portland on TV like that. Not that sorry. Because also it's too exposing. Because it speaks to religious practices. So because see right now, if you could just sell a person's sexual preference or their gender preference as it's just that's one thing. But if you're selling it as it's also a religious thing, then I think that the door will be closed on that a hell of a lot sooner. But at the end of the day, for all the Bible scholars out here, I don't know how anyone can look at what they have done and say, oh, well, no, these, and not say, oh, yeah, these are people who clearly hate God. Look at everything they do. It's all to put a snub their nose in God's face. And you might not believe in God. And that's okay. But here's the facts. They do. And when I say that's okay for that to be your choice. I, of course, don't believe with you or agree with you if that's what you believe. But we can agree to disagree. However, these people here absolutely are very much open with it. So you might see a dude who is transitioning into a woman and you'll look at the jewelry or tattoos on this person's hand, or maybe even their clothes. And their allegiance to their power will be very evident. No mystery. No mystery. And so, a conservative cat like him, which he's spoken against reparations himself. If my information is correct, I believe he is not in, one that would even be receiving reparations. But, again, like he's from the conservative side too. So I have my take on that as well. Because foundational Black Americans are traditionally conservative. There is a group of conservative Christians who, in that realm, also you also have to look. A lot of them are tethers. There's a lot of conservative Christians that are not foundational Black Americans. So when they speak about us from a certain place. And again, not having our history or shared history, they look at their connection with white America through the lens of Christianity. So their philosophy is Christianity. And so to them, there is no racism. There's just racist people, but none of their Christian friends or Christian interaction are part of that system of supremacy. And so, again, a lot of them take that mindset on as if supremacy does not exist. Well, that those type of sentiments last until they don't. And so sometimes you have to understand that there might be times where the gig is up. And I understand, here's another thing. If y'all have noticed, in the talk of FBA, there is another talk that is also out there. So along in the conversation with foundational Black Americans is also the low-key conversation and references that people are making to Israelites. Now, I'm not saying these Israelite groups that they often like to go get, and this is nothing against any of these camps. But I notice every time that they do their, these Israelites, they never, ever touch Great Millstone. Everybody that speaks against foundational Black Americans or Israelites, especially Israelites, when they do the, this is what they believe. So then you'll go to one camp that, you kind of can pick holes in the doctrine they're giving you. And again, like I said, it's nothing against any camp, but I cannot help but notice that every time these people have something negative to say about Hebrew Israelites, they never, ever want to touch Great Millstone. And, and I'm clear on why, because for some of you youngsters might not be aware, but you guys have followed a lot of these other folks, your polites and whatnot. Y'all might not have known or been able to see him get smoked on 34th and 7th on Manhattan by the elders of Great Millstone some years back. I think that'd be about 2013. I still got that on video though. So understand, like some of these cats have been around for a long time and they got the doors blew off them a long time ago. So I know why they stay away from Great Millstone. But so if you guys get out here and be like, well, I don't believe this, I don't believe that, put it to the test. And if you could come do something better, then do it. But I know there's a reason why everybody avoids Great Millstone while talking about what they talk about. Challenge the elders there, if they even bother to talk to you. Because, again, with just the plethora of their old content, can erase everything that you're talking about. So, it's little known fact. But even before the Maroons was even thought of in the conversation with Brother Tariq Nasheed, brother from Great Millstone did the Indian uprising about the Seminoles, the Seminoles, and all of that. The three wars right there did brilliant videos back in like 2013 or 14, something like that, and letting you know about the history of Black folks in America, especially the Black natives, and just telling you that. So people, again, Black natives, that's Great Millstone, Hebrew Israelite. So don't get caught up talking to these other little groups. If you want to go get to the real, go deal with them folks. You might not like them because they're abrasive, but that's what the truth is. A double-edged sword. Last time I checked, a double-edged sword doesn't feel like a mink coat. It cuts, but it'll set you free. And speaking of being set free, there's some Jamaicans that are worried. There's some Nigerians that are worried. Some Cameroonians that are worried that they just might be set free after they get rounded up and put on that plane and sent back home.
Georgia and across the country right now, some Caribbean and African immigrants are consulting with immigrant attorneys about their rights, immigration attorneys to talk about their rights following this weekend's targeted operations. Talk 2's Audrey Washington's live now at the Jamaican consulate in Sandy Springs in North Fulton County. Audrey, calls are pouring into the consulate there.
Right, you know, the calls are pouring in here to the Jamaican consulate, but I'm also told they're pouring into the Nigerian consulate not too far from here. I'm told that the immigrants and refugees reaching out are calling with the same concerns about whether they will be deported.
But they're very scared, you know, they're very concerned.
All weekend, those at different local Caribbean and African consulates and organizations fielded calls from concerned immigrants and refugees. Some of the questions:
how would they respond to me? What is the legal process to apprehend us?
President Donald Trump.
What is the legal process to apprehend us? That you got the police at your door and they saying, hey, you don't belong here. I think that's how that works. If your paperwork ain't straight, then you probably are in jeopardy of getting deported.
Trump's mass deportation policy kicked into action over the past few days in cities across the country and right here in Metro Atlanta. ICE officials said they mostly rounded up accused illegal immigrants with criminal backgrounds. But some immigrants and refugees who are here legally said they're scared they might get deported.
You know, they don't know if going to work, they might not come back home.
Monday, I spoke with the head of the Jamaican.
Yeah, it's very odd because, you know, they've repeated that legal immigrants wouldn't be going through that, especially when they're not committing criminal offenses. So, you know, they're here legally. Well, why would they be deported for not breaking the law and being here legally? That's being here legal. See, they keep doing this weird speak. You know, it also brings to mind, you know, the Caribbean influence in hip hop. Where's the song about fleeing in hip hop? Anybody remember that song? I gotta get on a plane and fly away. From McLeod.
Consulate of Atlanta and with the president of the Congolese community of Atlanta. Right now, there are about 8,000 people from the Congo living in Georgia. And for Jamaicans in our state,
500,000. Some of them came here to school.
Well,
you understand how many people here talking crazy to us, folks? Does that make sense? Is that registering you all now? I mean, think about that. That's an awful lot of folks that come here, and all these people jumping out the window. And what colleges you think they're going to? They embedding themselves in HBCUs. They embedding themselves in sororities and whatnot. And here they are out here, and then they weasel themselves into these spots where Black folks should be representing the agenda of foundational Black Americans. And here they are worrying about people from their homeland and enriching them and helping them get over here, and while always ignoring us. But see, that's the depth of a tether. 500,000 Jamaicans and all them Cameroonians. Y'all in Atlanta, Georgia, you are surrounded by tethers. You are engulfed in tethers. You understand? So it's worse than we thought.
In this community, we have a lot of refugees because of the war.
Dede Tumba said the main concern is whether Trump will end the temporary protected status program that allows refugees to remain in the U.S. legally. But immigration attorney Joshua McCall told.
Here's the thing that they're doing right there, and that's kind of lowbrow too, because those are refugees from an actual war, not fleeing to have a better life. Big difference.
There's still the law and there's still the Constitution.
There are protections for immigrants and refugees.
To prepare all the documents that show that they are here, they've paid taxes,
documents,
their criminal record, everything is clean.
Documents.
And that immigration attorney told me it's important for people to keep their immigration paperwork in a safe place just in case they need it at short notice. And we are live here in Sandy Springs. Audrey Washington, Channel 2 Action News.
Yeah, documents. See how that works? Not undocumented, documented. And that's who you really need to worry about addressing. And that's a good thing that she did. I like the fact that they are addressing that as they should. But, it is what it is. Now, let me see where I'm going to go. Oh, yeah, let's deal with some tether talk for a minute. Let's deal with a little bit of tether talk for a hot sec. These complaining tethers are outrageous. Let's go here first. The stuff that they say is just so stupid, but whatever, Who am I to say it's stupid? It means something to somebody. Hey, I was wrong.
Immigrants and you're for the mass deportations, hate them all the way. Stay out of beautiful Mexico, stay out of the beautiful beaches, retire.
That's funny because all the immigrants ain't just from Mexico. So why does she say, if you hate immigrants, why does she say immigrants like immigrants just a blanket word for Mexican? There's criminals coming from all over the world. What are you talking about? That's funny. Why did she say that?
If you hate immigrants and you're for the mass deportations, hate them all the way. Stay out of beautiful Mexico, stay out of the beautiful beaches, retire in your own country. I never want to see you go to another Mexican restaurant to order enchiladas, burritos, tacos, margaritas, none of that. You're not even allowed to have Taco Bell, even though that.
You know what's really funny about that, ma'am? Is black folks would just start opening up taco shops. Black folks would just start selling tacos. Probably some white folks too. And here's the other thing, she's doing all of this about immigrants, and then she's talking about Mexicans. For the Mexicans who have businesses here and who are legally here, like this is, you're talking about immigrants, and they're not deporting the masses of Mexicans in Texas, Arizona, in New Mexico. Why? Because those are Tex-Mexes. American Mexicano. Been here for generations. See, that's a big difference. Not coming over here illegally. Been over here for a few generations. They grandparents were here. So, there's that. Some of these Mexicans fought in Vietnam. If your people just got here, you guys aren't in the same boat. So you might not want to compare yourself to those people. And again, maybe check in with those Texas Mexicans because, they kind of got the same sentiment, There's that.
That's a knockoff version of Mexican food. Never touch another bottle or shot of tequila in your life ever again. Don't go visit.
Yeah, because, getting tequila from Jalisco is like George Clooney and The Rock and all of these other white businesses that operate in Jalisco, Mexico. And again, what she's doing is telling you not to patronize other Mexican businesses. She's almost as bad as Al Sharpton.
Beautiful man.
Oh, and Mark Lamont Idiot Hill. Hey, Mark Lamont Hill, by the way, ain't nobody boycotting Turkey, weirdo. That doesn't even make sense. And then the fact that you would say, oh, well, let these black businesses over here be harmed because of the big picture. You are a jackass.
Mexico, stay out of Tulum, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, all of those. Go visit Nebraska.
The love boat gonna still be going there, so you don't want anybody of your family members down there in Puerto Vallarta to be able to get some money from all of them ships that come there. And what about all of the inclusive resorts that are there too? I guess you don't want people to frequent those and shouldn't because that's right, but they're in Mexico, so that means there is something popping in Mexico. You just weren't.
Go visit Kansas. Stay out of beautiful Mexico. Go visit the red states that you love so much. Clean your own house and mow your own lawn. Get in the field and start.
The red states. Does that kind of low-key actually tell you about what was going on here with the Democrats? See, they gave them people's assurance. That's why they over here crying, because they really told them folks, come on over here, we got you. Damn them niggas.
Picking fruit. Go build the houses, and I want to see you pop them up quick. No more.
No, I don't want to see a house popped up quick. That's been a huge problem. And if you didn't know, a lot of people don't want to buy those houses. And if you can are able to catch a development early in the building stages, you can see who's out there on the work site and the job site and see the flimsy, cheap material that they're building some of these houses with, that they're then going to put fancy facades on and turn around and sell them for $500,000. So, no, that's not the greatest. Oh, and then those things will burn up just as fast as they did down there in California. You got fancy houses down there melting away. And then the houses that were built with a little more care, those actually withstood some of them wildfires in the midst of all of their neighbors' houses burning down. So, you know, those houses definitely weren't built with black labor. Chicky.
Listening to salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, cumbias, none of that. Listen to
Oh, trust me, you don't have to concern yourself with us listening to that. You know, I don't remember any of those bands being invited to do the NFL halftime show for Super Bowl. When have you heard a mariachi band at Super Bowl? Or Tihana?
your own music. You don't get to love the culture, but hate the people that created the culture.
The kettle calling the pot black. Let's hear that right there. That's because I'm done with you.
Bachata, reggaeton, cumbias, none of that. Listen to your own music. You don't get to love the culture, but hate the people that created the culture. And if
you don't get to love the culture, but hate the people that created the culture. You are absolutely correct, ma'am. So please do me a favor and tell your fellow Latino, Fat Joe, stop disrespecting foundational Black Americans about our creations. Because you can't love the culture and hate the people that created that culture. Shout out to hip hop. Ain't that right? Well, thank you for your enlightening perspective. Here's another. See what she has to say.
And Trump, if you're taking my people, make sure you take us with all of our shit. We taking our Mexican restaurants, our tacos, our taco trucks, our fucking micheladas, coronas, everything. You ain't keeping none of our shit. Keeping motherfucking hot dogs and bread.
Okay, cool. You know what's funny though? I just played you two Mexican women who told you about burritos, enchiladas, tacos. Now, if we said something like that, hey, Trump, hey, don't you eat your burrito? If we did something like that, wouldn't we be considered or called, oh, you guys are racist? I'm just saying. But they'll mention burritos and tacos. Burritos and tacos. But if we said anything like that, you guys are racist. And right now you have foundational Latin Americans. And here they are saying FBA versus FLA. Gloves are off. And so here is a talking burrito that says, hey, FBA, don't you forget about us. Let us ass take. So understand, when we get these weirdos out here talking this crazy madness, understand they'd have disdain for us to begin with, and we know this. But you have relegated yourself to burritos and tacos. That's your greatest accomplishment in America? It's literally a burrito and a taco. Well, I guess it's more than you can say for this guy who absolutely got put on by Black Americans. This is John Leguizamo talking very ignorantly, but he has some comforting words for those who are about to catch their flight out of here.
My immigrant brothers and sisters, I know you're not felons. I know you're not criminals. I know you're not drug dealers. You're the hardest working people in America. You inspire me. And I feel pain for your plight. Nobody gets a joy of seeing you picked up and handcuffed. It breaks my heart to see Latin people, Latin bodies being treated this way. We're 70 million Latin people, United States citizens, 10 million immigrants. We need to stand up for each other. We need to stand up. You can't be quiet during this presidency. You need to act up, speak up, and fight, and do whatever powers we have, whatever tools.
That's right. All of you illegal aliens, you need to get out in the streets and protest. Listen to your fellow comrade here. John Leguizamo is telling you, you need to be just like how you saw Black folks out there with Pull Up Summer and George Floyd protests and the Montgomery riverboat reckoning. Yeah, you guys need to get out there and show Trump that you're not going to stand for it. You got to get out there and get organized, and you march right down onto the Capitol. Just like all of the Black folks did, and just like you've seen for the rally for reparations. Y'all get out there and go on there and do like Tariq Nasheed did. And you hold a rally. See, John Leguizamo, that's what you can do. And you can sit up there and you can get the stage built. You can rent out that whole space. You've already seen it done by the brother twice. So you can do it too. Nothing's stopping any of you. All of your coalitions, you should get out there and, hey, we're illegal and we're not going. Why don't you guys get out there? There's your chant. We're illegal and we're staying. Yeah. What does he want you to do? He's you might not want to listen to this guy. You might not want to listen too much and listen too hard to this guy, because he's kind of setting you up for failure. But hey, listen to him. You need to get out there and you need to do something. Okay.
We have to use them. I'm with you. I feel very offended by this attack on immigrants, and especially because the majority of them are Latin immigrants who look just like me, who could be my cousin, who could be my aunt, my uncle, my nephews.
He's doing a Latin diaspora thing, I guess. So, the conquistadors and everybody over in Spain, and they could be my cousins and relatives too. I mean, geez. Not everybody is from the same damn country. You got Africans. They your cousins? They come from Senegal. Well, he your countryman? Genius? Jeez. It's just cloudy. It just rings a cloud with you. Really? Doing what? Making a video that no one cares about because you're an idiot. And you've already been sticking your foot in your mouth. And so that whole Democratic line is done. All of that disrespect and trying to rewrite foundational Black Americans' history, hell no. And right now, you is getting shown what the reality of America is. It ain't about your immigrant status. It's about foundational Black American freedmen status. Because we're the longest standing Americans outside of these other folks. There's 3 groups, and you ain't part of them. You ain't native or white or foundational Black American. You have a different kind of citizenship than we do. And the birthright citizenship is based off of our experience, based off our ancestors and for our ancestors and the descendants, which is us, not you. You're benefiting from something you actually legitimately never should have. So instead of being grateful and showing humility, you're doing a video talking about you're standing with other people here to exploit our ancestors. No bueno.
It's insulting and demeaning to our whole race as a people, as an ethnic group, and we cannot stand for it. It dehumanizes us. He calls us animals and criminals. It's disgusting and it's unacceptable, and we can't allow it. Even if we have to speak out and fight against this language and this dehumanization of our people.
Then you should do that. Good for you. Good for John Leguizamo. You should get out there and fight for your people, because we're damn sure not doing it. So good luck to you, buddy. Because, you know, that's your bag. So, you know, hey, good for you. You enjoy it. In the meantime, we're just going to be busy minding our own black business and not involving ourselves with the madness that you're talking about. But, oh yeah, but we almost forgot. There is just this one little matter of business.
This worked and others were fighting for civil liberties in the fields. Latinos can...
In the fields, that's a Jim Crow sign that says Jim Crow, talking about black folks. This is Reconstruction time after slavery. Slavery and the 14th Amendment dealing with foundational black Americans. Do you see what they were trying to do, family? This is... So go from Fat Joe to John Idiot Examo. Do you see the move that they were? Let's rewrite this history. Let's hear some more of this BS.
Continue to be subjected to Jim Crow laws, also known as One Crow laws. And these Jim Crow laws were statutes that legalized segregation and made Latinos second-class citizens in their own country.
Yeah, let's go back to this though. Let's not. Matter of fact, you know what? We don't even need me on the screen for this. Let me make this really big. Let's do this.
To Jim Crow laws, also known as One Crow law.
No, they were never known as Juan Crow laws because there was no such thing as no Juan Crow.
And these Jim Crow laws were statutes that legalized.
That's the Jim Theater. Exclusive colored theater, otherwise known as the Jim Theater. Exclusive black theater, the Jim Theater, other known as the exclusive Freedman Theater. And last but not least, you can call it the Jim Theater. Exclusive foundational black American theater. If you want to go the Israelite route, you can say the Jim Theater. Exclusive Judah Theater. See how that works? Just talking about one specific group. It's not involving the world. It's not including everybody. Not anybody running across the border. Not anybody swimming across the into this country or by boat or plane or parachute. No, just the people that were already here, building this country for free. And now that they're freed, this is part of the freedom for them. And this is about them. Not about another group, but about them, the free slave. That's why that's there. So let's hear him try to keep consistently integrating his people into our history.
Segregation and made Latinos second-class citizens in their own country.
It was not their country.
In the early 20th century, the Jim Crow laws were developed to separate blacks from whites.
You see how that they're only talking about two people. So this is how you have to have this little thing here to try to shoehorn your way into the conversation. And so in Dallas, because there were so many, just like there are now.
Latinos had their own system of Jim Crow, which people now refer.
No, that's just called a stay your ass out of our country. That's not a Jim Crow law. That's illegals go home. And dogs and Negroes. Mexicans, you can't come here. So they were not deporting you, then okay. But Mexicans? Now, yes, you would have the Mexican settlers. Funny thing about the Mexicans, that doesn't include Colombians, Venezuelans, Guatemalans, Costa Ricans, Brazilians. It doesn't include any. It just solely includes Mexicans. Guess what? John Leguizamo is not a Mexican, but he sure is trying to massage his way into this American soil history, isn't he?
Referred to as Juan Crow. They couldn't live in every neighborhood. They had to attend segregated schools, segregated churches.
You're going to show where those churches and them schools were for those Mexicans that were affected by Juan Crow.
So here we have the effects of Jim Crow laws in the Southwest, because we were in larger populations in the Southwest. And as you can see, the order it's intense. No dogs, Negroes, or Mexicans. And if you're Mexican, you're at the bottom of it, even lower than dogs.
If you're what? And if you're Mexican, you're at the bottom of it, even lower than dogs. Negroes were also lower than dogs, stupid. So you just jump over the Negroes and try to massage yourself into our history. What a douchebag. Yeah, John Leguizamo is a piece of crap. But this, it goes to show how heavy these people have been tethering. And they've been tethering very heavy and aggressively. So we got a few clips to play before we skedaddle. Let me get these here. Okay, so let's see where I gotta go next. Let's see, I played that. So let me play the View. And I'll just be playing the audio of this. Sonny Holston is off her rocker. Not that one. Sonny Holston is crazy. But check this out. Her getting it wrong again.
87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants.
Yes, I don't know anybody in the world. Yeah, I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where you should be focused.
Can I say something? Because, we keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens.
Ooh, no.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration.
And immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented.
That's a hell of an indictment against the American citizens, Sonny.
I also want to make the point that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last...
See, they're all criminals, Sonny.
To call people illegal is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic.
No, it's not. It's calling them what they are. And your shaming tactic is weak and whack. And this is why the Democrats freaking lost. And if you stay stuck on this line, you are going to systematically destroy the Democratic Party, starting with the next election, as your numbers severely thin, if this is where you stay.
Is in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Why did you have to throw racists in there? Immigrants are coming from all over the world to come enter into this country illegally. We've had Chinese nationals, Asian nationals, people from the Middle East, Africa, India. It is not one group. You're saying, oh, well, it's racist. Racist against who? You can't be, there's no race in a legal status. It's just being illegal. And that's not xenophobic. It's the truth. They're illegal. They're criminal. They're breaking the law. They're in here illegally. That makes them a legal alien. That is legal jargon. In Washington, that is literally legal jargon. So what are we talking about?
I do. And correct.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, and Sonny got it wrong. And Sonny got it wrong again. But not just Sonny. Oh, yeah. Let me. So, yeah, like I said, not just Sonny. There's a few of these folks who have clearly got it wrong. One being, where's that at? Number one, this person here.
Tonight, in this room full of music's dreamers, we remember that this country was built by dreamers, for dreamers, chasing the American dream.
This country couldn't have been built by dreamers, and definitely wasn't built for dreamers, because those people who built it were slaves. So they definitely weren't dreaming they definitely were dreaming and hoping and praying for a better life, to not be on the plantation being a slave. But see, here's the problem when you let these outsiders in, and even melanated outsiders are a problem, i.e., this guy.
Is a culture that has been born based on it being attributed to the origin, which is Africa. The origin.
That's right.
All right, so now.
How about the rhythm?
When I say
the flow,
my flows with the way I spit, put your hands where my eyes can see. Hit you with no delaying, so what you singing, yo. Silly with the 9 milli with the dilly, yo. So that's on a.
That's actually, and he's already told you. See, now he's going to rewrite his own history here. This is slick. For those who don't know, and he's a drummer, just like myself and Duan B. We're all drummers. And so with a lot of successful rappers, most of the successful rappers that you like, especially because you like their cadence, they're all musicians. 9 times out of 10, they're drummers. And so what he is rapping in on those aren't African rhythms. Those are trap kit rhythms. So when you're playing the trap kit, i.e. trap music, which is an American art form, of course. Why? Because trap is the name of the drum set. And that's the foundation of trap music. You didn't know much of that, did you?
Rhythm level, right? It's Africa rhythm.
Don't call me beatzilla.
All right, let's take it further. When you do a bongo, that's all Africa.
Wow.
It's not America.
I can't take it.
It is what it is. Hit you with no delaying to what you singing, yo.
Let him know.
I'm taking it always back to the origin. So I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to dispute the truth. Y'all could invest your time and waste it trying to dispute the truth. Can't change the truth. Only lies change.
Yeah, so the lie that he just told there was that he was doing that. No, he actually, if you go back to the Drink Champs, he'll tell you that. So yes, you're right. Your lies did change, buddy. And you're a documented liar now, Buster. How fitting. Yes. Yes, that's he's talking about. Yeah, I played drums in church. That's where he got his cadence from for his rhyme. All of that BS. I take it back to the origin of the motherland music. That's total cap. Oh, man. Oh, my God. But I will say, Busta Rhymes in his older age, there's a lot of interesting things that you just see come out every time you see him talk. Just saying. Anyway, moving on to the next and the last topic of this evening is another group of tethers. This group of tethers here I've seen, and when I told y'all about the conservative scene, let me explain something to y'all. This black conservative scene is full of tethers. And as far as I know, all of these people up here on this screen are not foundational Black Americans. They're all tethers. Sound like they're from the DMV. Now, this one here in the center, who I guess obviously is the host, she has some interesting, here's some interesting tweets from these people. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. Glad I'm Haitian. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I've came to the realization that I'm Haitian for real, not black, because what the F? I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I'm glad I'm Dominican and Haitian and not black. Haitian, not black. Zoes travel to Haiti and back. Yanks travel to county jail and back. This down here, the good girl. My statistics. Good black men, 5%. Bad black men, 95%. Good white men, 95%. Bad white men, 5%. And I'm sure you probably be like, wow. But then when you see stuff like this, it kind of, makes sense of things. And then she says, I'm a black American. My ancestors weren't slaves in this country. I think my comment is being proven by your response. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, guess we need to hear what these people had to say then, don't we? Always somebody talking slick about foundational Black Americans. Never fails.
Let's talk about what foundational Black Americans are. So the term refers to a concept coined by activists and filmmakers to.
All of them are Caribbeans. Okay.
Refers to a concept coined by activists and filmmaker Tariq Nasheed. It's used to describe Black individuals in the United States who are descendants of African people enslaved in the U.S.
No. This is how you know when people know exactly what foundational Black Americans is, because then they go to enslaved African. That is the conversation that comes from Jam and those other individuals associated with her and her funding partners, who are also making sure they have their hands here, have their hands there, have their hands a little bit of everywhere, so you could get these tethered clowns, because tethers like strings, and so they'll have their strings pulled by the powers that be that is cutting the check this week, and then they'll get out here and start talking reckless against foundational Black Americans as if it's a group and not a lineage. But let's go ahead and hear them go off.
To the abolition of slavery in 1865. Here we go. I want to start off with you, Shelley.
My never to be humble opinion is that this movement is a way to further segregate and divide Black people, give me a second, and have these FBAs use this one as a good separation technique or a good segregation technique. Now, let me say this. I don't give a damn who you associate with, who you want to be called, or what group. I don't really care. But I think this particular issue is a way for, I'm going to say, maybe more conservatives to use as, oh, I'm separating myself because I am a slave or I have ancestors that were slaves or whatever. I don't care. Ultimately, I am a foundational Black American. I was born here. American. I was born here.
And, you know, a lot of people talk about being separate and all of this other stuff. Well, look, you can do that now. Find yourself an island in South Pacific and just go be separate.
We're in foundational Black American and our birthright being this land and the 14th Amendment being about us. Do you start talking about us leaving our homeland when the conversation is about you? Conversation ain't about foundational Black Americans leaving anyway. That's actually not what's happening right now, is it? Somebody going out to deport foundational Black Americans? No, they're not. Some of your folks might be headed on to a plane pretty soon. But us, no, not at all. So why would we be going to an island in the South Pacific when you simply don't have to be here? See, these people who have benefited from birthright citizenship don't know how they get birthright citizenship, and we should allow these ignoramuses to talk about us negatively? I don't think so. With you being born here doesn't make you a foundational Black American, but it does have you being born under the privilege that foundational Black Americans established. These rights, your people don't come from no abolitionists. You weren't out here freeing slaves. You weren't out here fighting slavers. This went on in this soil. It wasn't just white people that set Black people free. That's insane. Hell no. It took some other stuff going on that you guys probably aren't taught much while you're sitting up here in D.C., in the DMV, trying to act as scholars. DMV, just like I said earlier in Atlanta, DMV, you guys got a boatload of tethers hanging out amongst you. And this is how they talk in their private time. But see, because this is on the conservative side of the game, I guess they figured none of you would be paying attention. So this is something to know. These are some of the conservative people that I was foretelling you about that would all of a sudden, as soon as things change, they're going to start coming after foundational Black Americans because these people are tethers and they're quitters and they think that they have found their allegiance with a better life by marrying the system of America, but while neglecting foundational Black Americans. And she going to say she's sick and tired of it. Your birthright comes from us, ma'am. And that's why they're talking about birthright citizenship now. So what are you tired of? The fact that we are talking about it or the fact that it's being solidified about its original intent, which does not include you? Matter of fact, for you, sister, hold on, wait. Because I just see these people get real comfortable and I have a major problem with that. So just so you know that this administration did absolutely hear the voices of new Black media and the grassroots. Let me just show you right here that this is foretelling of your attitude, maybe should be a little humble.
Yeah, I was looking through, I downloaded the 14th Amendment. There's been a lot of Supreme Court cases. Civil Rights Act of 1964 was upheld. This approach in the heart of Atlanta Motel versus United States. Justice Joseph Bradley made a really interesting comment about it. He said, quote, individual invasion of individual rights is not the subject matter of the 14th Amendment. It has a deeper and broader scope. It nullifies and makes void all state legislation and state action of every kind which impairs the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States, or which injures them in life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or which denies them equal protection of the laws. He goes on. The radical Republicans who advanced the 13th Amendment, which was free slavery, abolishing slavery, hoped to ensure broad civil and human rights for the newly freed people. But its scope was disputed before it even went into effect. The framers of the 14th Amendment wanted these principles enshrined in the Constitution to protect the new Civil Rights Act from being declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, and also to prevent a future Congress from altering it by a mere majority vote. Who was the focus? The newly freed people. Not everybody trying to get here by hook, crook, or cranny.
Yeah.
But most people don't even know how to feed themselves without a supermarket. So that's something that would break down very quickly. Now,
most folks don't know how to feed themselves without supermarkets. You say that to foundational Black Americans? We are the farmers, idiot. Black farmers been getting, see, these people don't know the history of this country. And they get over here talking real crazy and reckless. And I have no respect for that because they're a first-generation immigrant talking shit. I have absolute disdain for people like this, these ungrateful POSs. And Christ ain't going to help you out being ungrateful in somebody else's home, thinking you were born here and you're fortunate to have what you have. And just look at what's happening right now. If these birthrights were stripped away from y'all today, where would you be? Where would you be? Begging for a handout, trying to come to this country? How do you talk about we begging for handouts and you're sitting in this country as a damn anchor baby? This is the type of coalition or togetherness or this. And see, again, how can foundational Black Americans be divisive when this type of talk is nothing but disdain?
These foundational Black Americans, the authority, whoever they are, I've never heard of such. And no, you may.
You did notice that she called it the authority. That's that DC Democrat shield talk. But this is supposed to be conservative.
Not claim me in your group, just because I happen to be born an American, right? Born an American.
You keep trying to emphasize being born an American. The reason why you have that entitlement is because of foundational Black Americans. It's amazing that these people try to say this as it's something with ignoring why it even exists. These people are the worst.
With beautifully melanated skin, but American nonetheless, right? We're not going to start dividing ourselves into these little pockets that make it easier for people to take advantage of other people.
See, listen to that talking point right there. When we separate ourselves, they have no defense. See what they're complaining about? Not having somebody protect them. Not that they're being treated or mistreated. They're not having someone protect them. That's their problem. Big difference.
And let me tell you something. I'm sick of FBAs, okay?
Wow. I'm sick of them too. I'm just sick of people begging all the damn time.
Yeah. You can actually walk down Baltimore and step in human feces, and it's generally from an FBA. Okay.
Wait a minute. Have you seen these people's homeland? When they defecating in the street, walking around with severed heads and whatnot? And all of that I just showed you, all of this right here. And while they always talk about divisive, and then when we won't defend it, see, they want to be defended. That covering is leaving. I'm sick of FBA too. Done been here long enough to get a Baltimore accent, but just as non-FBA as anybody else. All these people up here are non-FBA and FBA haters. So to that, You damn FBA or FBA haters sitting over here perpetrating the fraud. When you see your people get deported, just remember,
you shouldn't have been talking shit.
And so, again, just a reminder of the fact that you're not like us. This is why.
And as we are fighting hard to get birthright citizenship or automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens, that's another way. It's automatic citizenship for children of illegal aliens. That's the other term that they use, which is actually more accurate, more understandable. And it's ridiculous. We're the only country that has it, and certainly the only country that has it to that extent. And it wasn't meant, if you look, it was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves, it was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders from all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that. And hopefully at some point the courts will understand that without having to go through a whole big deal. This was meant for the children of slaves. And look at the timing of it and you'll see. And I hope judges will understand that. And it has to stop because it's really hurting our country very badly.
Facts. And these tethers have done nothing but infiltrated our midst to inflict harm on us while looking to us for their protection. Well, for me, I say no more. And the facade of unity is dead. Foundational Black American freedmen are standing up. And we see we have no friends to stand along with us. So we are all we got. And if we have to make the moves that we need to make for our people, it will be strictly, specifically, directly, solely for our own people. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall. And let us rise. Can you dig it? Yes, indeed. So some of y'all are feeling some kind of way right now. I don't know what to tell you. But I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, anybody out here like Mark Lamont Dummy Hill, who's trying to get out here and cape for these illegals while they're being disrespectful for us, or you're also trying to talk about DEI and boycotting places that would harm Black businesses, all of y'all, this is how we see you.
Buck dancing, shuffling, scratching, bootlicking, bamboozling, Uncle Tom Negro.
And at this point, if you are not down with the reparation movement of foundational Black Americans, you get one of these.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
So don't be offended when you walk in and we don't recognize you and someone has to ask you,
where's your family from?
It's a serious question because it matters. And so we need y'all to understand why it matters. It's because too many people have came in here and tethered themselves around us. And now that, look at even the conservatives, and this is why I was telling you about the conservatives. The conservatives are now looking at the Democratic shills who just failed their group. Now, these particular shills always thought that trying to be the colorblind Black was going to benefit them. Now they're recognizing, no, these being Black and standing on Black business actually means something, even to the white opposition, as you would look at it, because we are not cowering down, bending over, rolling over, laying down. Instead, we're still standing toe-to-toe saying this is what we need for our people. When you people don't even give a crap about your homelands or your countrymen, because right now you're a proud American, and it's the 14th Amendment. that allows you to be here. And I personally take your disrespect to our lineage and our ancestors as an insult. Now, there might be some of you that think that, well, man, that ain't no insult to the FBA ancestors, man. The 14th Amendment is about those who were enslaved, freed, and their descendants. That means us. We are still represented in the Constitution, and you're only here because of it. And if you can't wrap your mind around that, well, I speak for myself. beatzillapdx official, the beatzillapdx official show. Those of you in the chat, the grassroots, and the voices of New Black Media, I think it is safe to say I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Beatzilla PDX official show. And this is the midweek report. Of course, it is Thursday. It's a day late. We had some technical difficulties, but we got it here. Yes, indeed, we did. And never forget, family, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
And there may be some people that be like, man, y'all not right. Our issues are not other people's issues, and you haven't concerned yourselves with us. So just like John Leguizamo was telling y'all to do, go get out in them streets and go rep for yourself like we always do. This time, we're not doing it for everybody else. This is hold your own nuts time. And now you're really getting a chance to see what that look and feel like for real. This is what it's been like being us. So while you want to sit here and be disrespectful to us, you just don't do this and don't do that and don't worry about this if you hate immigrants. No one hates anybody, but we need you up out of this country because you flooded the zone illegally, and it is a harm, detriment to our country, considering how you came in by the millions during a shutdown and a pandemic and a financial crisis, and as well as a homeless crisis. So none of that helped this country, and you have done nothing to help it. So with that being said, hashtag fire up the Jets.
Happy birthday, we're celebrating you today. Like Dr. King holiday, we ain't gonna do any work today. Happy birthday today. It's your beautiful day, and we gonna party all day like it's a freaking holiday.
That's right. That is right. And Tethers, all I can really tell y'all is, don't be Otis.
Coming to see me. They coming to see the Temptations. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office. Can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally.
So anyway, family, y'all can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. You can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you can definitely do so by way of CashApp at $beatzillapdx. And of course, we also have PayPal, which is Zilla Music. That is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And with that being said, we are out of here. Oh Lord, oh man, I know there might be some hating Tethers out there. I'm sick of FBA. That's all I can give y'all. Oh, we have to laugh at that because you've been hating in our back. Hating behind our back, And over here, oh yeah, don't be divisive, please. Miss us, man. So y'all got to hold y'all nuts. It is what it is, and we are going to be worrying about our causes, worry about our plight, and the one thing that we most definitely going to do. Isn't that right, family? What we going to do over here? We are going to stay black, stay vigilant, staying alive. Family, black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all. Have a blessed evening.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yeah. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.